Hello everyone, Thor here. I figured I'd do a top 10 since I saw a bunch of movies this year of my favorite movies that I saw. These opinions obviously can change in the future and, they're just an opinion and, it's very subjective and they change day to day. When I just made this list, it looks good to me. This is what I had. But before that, I want to make some honorable mentions because there are some really good movies I didn't get to see this year that I'm sure would be on this list. So I want to mention No One Will Save You because I did really like that movie. It just barely didn't make the list. I was a fan, but I just thought these other movies were better. John Wick 4, I'm sure would definitely be on here. I heard nothing but great things about it, but I did not see it. I know it's one I should have seen and I really need to. I know that's going to be great though. I also want to honorably mention the beginning of Indiana Jones and half of Renfield. The superhero movies this year were fine or bad or worse. Totally Killer sounded fun, but I didn't get a chance to see it. Five Nights at Freddy's was good if you know the lore, but I think it should have been R rating rather than a children's PG-13 or whatever it was. They're not going to do it because that's where they're getting a lot of their money. So When Evil Lurks is one I want to watch, but I need to when on an empty stomach from what I hear, so holding off on that one. And The Boy and His Heron I'm hoping to see this weekend, but I've not seen it yet. And I didn't see the Mario movie, so that won't be here either.
Don't call me a raccoon!
Anyway, we're going to start off with Guardians 3. What can you say? It's a James Gunn movie. Guardians 3, I think, was pretty good. I think they had a lot of ideas, though, that they kind of pushed into one film. I think James Gunn wanted to make more Guardians films, but he's moved on to DC. I think they put a lot of seeds down for a bigger payoff, but I think that they just didn't get enough movies and it kind of just all got forced together. Definitely one of the better superhero movies this year. If you're going to pick one, that's the one you go with, I say.
One uninvited guest has arrived, and this year there will be no leftovers.
So this year was a good year for horror, and Eli Roth came back, and that's why next up we have Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, it was played it safe, very easy, 90s 2000s Green Lake horror movie, kind of like I Know What You Did Last Summer. Fun watching it, watch it with some friends. It's one that I'm glad they're gonna make a sequel for, so excited to see what they do with it. Next one, there might be a little bias. I'm a big Dungeons and Dragons player, so of course the D&D movie. I think if you're a fan of D&D, they definitely hit a lot of the right notes. It's a lot of fun. I mean, not the greatest movie I've ever seen, but it's a lot better than any of the other Dungeons and Dragons movies that ever come out. I think the Thieves Guild was the only part that was decent in any Dungeons and Dragons movie beforehand, so I think they're on the right track. I think if they make more of these, they could do a really good job, and I'd like to see what this party gets into, and they should keep with the same characters if they can. Next on the list, we got Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, it's a Christopher Nolan film, so it's always good. Not a lot of action, a lot of conversations and interesting situations. He keeps the energy really good, and the characters' dialogue is very engaging. A lot of people want to see it for the nuke blowing up. The effect was fine. I think another movie did it better. That movie's up higher, so spoilers there. I just think that Oppenheimer was a good time. I like it, but it's not a movie I'm probably going to watch, mostly because of the length of it. It's not something I'm going to watch all the time, but it's definitely good. It's good for the movie theaters, too. A lot of people went and saw it, and, when a lot of people are seeing a 3-hour plus movie, it's got to have something going, right?
I want to play a game.
Some people aren't going to agree with some of these, but I put Saw 10 up here just because I kind of saw it by mistake. I was pleasantly surprised by it. Again, I was only a fan of the first Saw. Everyone says 6 is really good, but I've never seen it. I'm working my way up. My knowledge of the Saw films were the first two. I never really got into the whole torture thing that they became. This is kind of like a revenge film. Definitely a different feeling Saw movie, but, it's got a lot of the elements there. I definitely liked it and enjoyed it. Had a good time with it. Now, this might be a little bit cheap, but I put 2 fan films here. Put Never Hike Alone 2 and Dylan's Nightmare just because I appreciate the idea of fans making movies, because apparently Hollywood doesn't know how to like what to do with these horror franchises. Hopefully Halloween's laid down the groundwork and we can see some good sequels, modern sequels that aren't the same old stuff. You know, I'd like to see a modern spin on both Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. I think Never Hike Alone is a good move that direction. Same with Dylan's Nightmare. Again, they're not perfect, but, you know, I definitely give them points for being indie films and people just trying to make entertaining stuff. They're short, quick to get through, but well worth watching. Last I checked, Never Hike Alone 2 is at over 2 million views, so that's awesome. Hopefully that gets a Blu-ray release. I got the original on Blu-ray. Hopefully Dylan's Nightmare is doing well too. I'll have to check that out because I enjoyed that as well.
Groovy.
It was a good year for horror, so here we go again. Here I put Evil Dead Rise. This came out earlier in the year and is a very fun movie, especially if you're an Evil Dead fan. I think it's safe for an Evil Dead movie. It's just entertaining. It's fun. It's different. Instead of being stuck in a log cabin, they're stuck in an apartment complex, which is an interesting twist on it. Probably, I don't know why. I think I like the 2012 remake better still. It's just, I don't know. I know people are mixed on it, but I guess I saw it at a good time and I had a really good time in the theater seeing that. Had a great time with Evil Dead Rise. Definitely one of the better movies I saw this year. It's quick, some good scares, a couple good scenes. The actress, I forget her name, that plays the mom was fantastic, and she really makes the movie, especially when she gets turned into a deadite.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Here we are, another horror movie, Scream 6. I know some people are kind of mixed on this. I think if this is the end for Melissa Barrera's character, Sam Carpenter, it's a good way to end it. She kind of became just like her dad, and the ending reveal is kind of weak compared to other reveals, but this movie had a great beginning, had some good kills. Horror 4, it's unfortunate that they're going to be breaking them up. Did it right where they had the core group in the first 4 movies. They messed up by killing Dewey in the 5th one. I still knock them for that, but now I bet you they really wish they didn't. We're going to have to pay Nev Campbell a bunch of money to somehow finish the second trilogy, I guess, or just reboot it. All right, and now another animated one, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. First one was amazing. This one just upped it. You know, the animation's amazing. This one just kept the energy up. Is one of the best animated films I've probably ever seen. I can't wait to get the trilogy and have the whole trilogy in 4K. That'd be awesome to just watch them back to back to back. This one leaves you on a cliffhanger. That's the worst part of it and the biggest knock I'll give it, because we're sitting on this cliffhanger and we just have to wait till the next one eventually comes out, and there's not much we can do. It's a really good story. The characters are great, and it's cool seeing all the Spider-Men. Like, when they go in the Spider-Verse, you see Spider-Men from the movies, you see them from different games, different cartoons. It's great. If you're a Spider-Man fan or a comic book fan or animation fan, definitely worth checking out. Finally, obviously, I'm a huge Godzilla fan, and Godzilla Minus One might be the greatest Godzilla movie ever made. I'll have to watch it some more and really think about it. I don't want to make that statement, but it's even up for an Oscar for special effects. I mean, the nuclear blast, like this was I was talking about earlier with Oppenheimer, is the nuclear blast from Godzilla is devastating. Mentioned it in my review. Impressive what they did with such a small budget, and the human element, and if you really like the characters, you cheered for the characters. Godzilla is made scary again. It was a monster and what he was originally intended to be, and I think this is what Godzilla needed. We'll get the fun movies from Legendary for the US films, you know, Godzilla teaming up with King Kong and fighting Mechagodzilla, Bigger Kong, or Space Godzilla, whatever's coming from Japan. If we can get more of these Shin Godzilla, like Godzilla Minus One, tragedy, or like these more like disaster survival movies in it, it's a whole different look. They throw some monsters in, cool. If not, I hear they're even thinking about doing a sequel to Shin finally, which would be interesting to see. It's been an awesome month to be a Godzilla fan, but I'm excited. I've loved Godzilla since I was a kid. I can't get enough of it. The top 10 of what I saw this year. Let me know your favorite movies in the comments. Subscribe if you made your way across, and I'd love to hear what you think. I'm always in the comments. I'll talk to you there. Have a good one. Throw out.